So we'll see the quick demo of creating threads and executing different threads at the same time. Okay, so I'll just share my screen. Okay, cool. So now you are going to tell me what are the steps that we need to take to create or to achieve multi-threading. First, we have to
create a class.
Create multiple tasks, right? First, we should have multiple tasks as it was discussed in the class by Vikram sir. To do multitasking or to do multi-threading, first requirement is that we should have multiple tasks and those tasks should be independent of each other. And third thing is they should involve some third-party resources. Now we are not going to use some third-party resources. We are just seeing that how can we create multiple tasks, and multiple tasks, of course, they will in future in doing some real world projects, they involve this third-party resources. But for now, to keep it simple, we are not going to use any of that. Most simple is that we can use file system as third-party resources. At the end of the class, I'll give some task. See if you can do that. Before that, the two steps, that creating multiple tasks and those two multiple tasks should be independent of each other. These two things are mandatory for doing multiple tasks or achieving multi-threading in Java. Okay. As Vikram sir discussed, we'll just go with the same example like printing natu and printing Ramaya Vastavaya. Okay, like natu job dot Java, and here, and again we'll create nrv job. Okay, dot Java. And we will have one more class to create threads or create multiple threads, so that JVM creates multiple stacks and executes that as required. Okay. Create threads dot Java. Okay. So in natu job, I would like to print this natu song for 100 times. Public class natu job, and I just create a method. Now, to create separate tasks, what are the two ways? How can we create threads or multiple tasks?
Extend threads or implement runnable.
Yeah, extends threads or implement runnable. We'll see first thing. Okay, we'll extend threads. Extend thread class. Okay, and here also we'll extend thread class. So cool. Now inside this class, what are we going to code?
Run method.
Yeah, run method. What are we doing that? What are we writing?
Overriding.
That override.
We are overriding this run method from thread class. Public void run. This is the method header for run. It receives nothing. It returns nothing. Okay, but this will execute the statements that is coded inside this particular method. So what should we do here? What was the requirement?
Printing not 100 times.
100 times. So we can achieve that using for loop int I equal to, sorry, I equal to 0, I less than 100, I plus plus. Okay, so we'll print not. Okay, and also we'll see how many times it is getting printed, or which time it is getting printed. We'll also print I, so that it helps us to see whether it is printing for 100 times, or for how many times it is taking break, or for how many time it is getting executed, and everything will be cleared if you print this I. So what are we going to do in this NRV job?
Same, creating a run method.
Same, overriding the run method and print or do whatever job that needs to be done here in this class. Okay, in this class run method. I'll just copy this, paste this. Okay, so we will print Ramaya Vastavaya. Something. Okay, and we'll print I. Any questions, any doubts? This is how we create multiple tasks, okay, which needed to be supposed to be executed simultaneously by implementing the concept of multitasking or multi-threading. Okay, so now after that, what we need to do here? How can we create threads?
First, create main method.
Yeah, we have to create main method. So now main becomes what? Main is what?
A task.
Main is a task. Main is a thread. Okay, by itself, when you tell Java space create threads, if it has main method, it enters the main method. When it enters the main method, it creates or it treats it as a thread. Okay, no matter what, every program when it runs, it will have at least one thread throughout its life, that is main thread. Even you create another thread or not, it is the next thing that needs to be thought. But every time you run a class, one thread is created for sure, and that is main. Okay, so inside this I would like to create two more threads. How can I create that?
Creating object.
Object of what?
Not to
Not to job and NRV.
NRV job. Why not thread class object?
We inherit all the methods of thread by overriding it.
Yeah, we get all the methods of thread by overriding it. I understand, but why can't we do this? And
Maybe the
call
dot run, the dot run
Yeah,
method is like an abstract method. Oh no, so sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
no, thread dot start. Why can't we do this? Which run method will get picked up?
Yes.
Hmm? If I do this, yeah,
Class
thread class method gets picked up because what is the reference data type? What is the object data type?
Right.
Right? So it will pick up the thread class implementation. We do not want thread class run implementation. We need our threads run implementation. So we have to create the object of type not to job and call the start method on that particular object. Okay. Got it? Why should we do this? Why should we create job of our object of our class?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the same way, I'll create NRV job. I'll just thread 1 and thread 2. Thread 1. Dot start. So how do we know that main method has started and ended? We'll just do SOP that main started okay, and same thing main ended. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are we doing here? We are creating two different jobs and creating threads. One thread is already created, which is main, and we are creating two more threads, thread objects, and starting those threads, okay, in a certain point of time of execution of main thread. So when the JVM executes this statement, it creates one more stack, one more control flow, it executes that particular thread separately. When it executes the start of another thread, it creates one more thread of execution, one more control flow, one more stack frame, and it executes that particular control flow separately. So shall we see the output of this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So we'll run this. No surprise. So anything may happen in the output of multi-threading. Okay. So you can see this. So that promise, completion of each and every thread is met irrespective of the order of execution of the threads. Okay. So come back here. What happened? Main started, main ended, finished. Okay. Kam Katam mains, and Ramaya Vastavaya got executed first. But even though we created this object first, which object? Natu job first, and called Natu job's start method first, the thing got executed was Ramaya Vastavaya first, and then Natu. Then it just kept on doing those things, and you get this separate execution of threads to achieve multiple tasks, to complete multiple tasks which are independent of each other, which can have third-party resources, which can be dependent on third-party resources. Clear? Any questions?
So one question, sir, can you modify the code and call not to jobs start method twice?
What? Not two jobs?
Invoke start method corresponding to the not to job object twice.
Twice.
Thread
Okay.
one dot start 2 times. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. That doesn't like, I'll just run this. Means you cannot make any difference much. Which not2 is called, which thread object or which start object is called on at what point of time. It's difficult to make out, right?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah, you can. It doesn't give much. Which 0, thread 1 or thread 2? We do not know. Or sorry, this first time start or second time start. You cannot make out much difference like that.
So there's an exception, sir, on top. Some thread exception.
It
in the
is
output.
not an exception. You have not used, so you are getting that warning.
Okay. Okay, sir.
If there was an exception, your program would have crashed.
Agreed. Okay, yes, sir.
Okay.
So we have so there is an exception. So okay, anyway, I'll see later. No.
Oh, no problem. We'll run it again. So I'll just clear the console. Sorry. Okay, I'll tell why that exception is. So illegal thread state exception means you are calling start method again and again on the same thread. It is not allowed. It like that thread is already started on this object and you are calling the same thread or same run method again on the same object. It will give you this exception.
Okay, sir.
Cool. Any other questions? Any other thing that you want me to check or test? No questions?
Sir, how many parallel threads can we start in a single main program?
Any number.
I see. Okay.
Any.
So,
okay. Shall we go for runnable? The second way of creating threads or creating multiple tasks. No questions here?
Sir,
Okay, cool.
sir,
So I'll just modify.
in
Yeah.
not on to job, create another method.
Another method.
Yeah,
Okay, what method do you want me to create?
some unit test.
Mm,
Any,
print something. Okay.
yeah,
Public void print something. Okay. Tell printing something. Okay. Cool. Then
that means if you start executing the third one, it keep
Mhm.
on executing the what are the methods that are presented inside that same thing, sir.
do you think so? What are you calling here? You are calling
That,
start.
okay, got it, sir.
Okay. Start method calls run method internally.
Yeah,
Okay.
got it, sir.
So if you go to this code, start method, don't know. start of 0. It has some synchronized something. So it starts of 0, something is there. So it calls run method internally. This is for sure. That is how, or that is when we go back here, we click on this. I had seen this code. Now I am unable to. Go to super implementation, run. Oh, it's an impossible task to search for all these things. So you can take this like this. Start method calls internally only run method, no other methods. Okay. So now if you run this particular threads, it will only call run method and it will only execute that particular code which is inside run method, and no other code gets executed. Okay, I'll just run this. You see, no other code got executed except the code that is what is present in run method of both the classes. Got it?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, good. So now we will see how to implement runnable interface, and then creating threads and executing that threads. Okay. So to implement, how do we implement an interface?
Implement keyword.
Implement runnable.
Yeah. Implements sorry, runnable. Okay, we save this and we go back here. Even here we will implement runnable. Save this. Okay, so runnable has run method, and we will code whatever we want to code inside that run method, which needs to be executed as a separate thread. And we are encountering this particular error here. We'll just comment this out. So to create a thread object, okay, we cannot create the what objects on interface, right? Agreed? Remember,
Yes,
we
sir.
cannot create objects on interface. We have to create the objects of class itself. So we have to create threads objects itself. Okay, but while creating the thread object, we will new thread of or we have to create the thread object, and we will give the object of runnable interface. Okay, we will give object of this, not to job. Clear? And the same way we will give the object of new NRV job, and this should be thread. Should be thread. So this is how we create the thread out of runnable or the class that is in implementing runnable interface. Either you can create the objects separately like this, like not to job 1 equal to new NATO job of. Okay, and NRV job 2 new NRV job of, and you can pass these object references as parameters to the constructor of threads. Okay, and then you call start methods on both those threads. This is the procedure that we have to follow when we have to create threads out of runnable or the class that is implementing runnable interface. Any questions?
No.
No. I have a question. What is the difference? Why should we do this? Why there is not only a one way?
Maybe when we use extends, right, we inherit the property of thread class. Whereas when
Yep.
we use interface, we implement interface, right? We don't actually inherit the property of interface. We just use their methods to add our new implementation. So I think performance-wise, interface is better.
We do actually, but you are not up to the point, but you are partially correct. Okay, we do inherit when we implement interface. Okay, implementing and extending both are two different ways of inheritance. Okay, we do inherit all the methods of the interface and also of the concrete class when we do extends and implement. Okay, but how many classes can you inherit when you do extends?
One.
Only one, right? How many interfaces you can implement?
N.
N number of interfaces you can implement. Okay, that is the main advantage of implementing runnable rather than extending a thread. Okay, it cannot belong to any other class hierarchy. If you just extend thread, it just belongs to threads hierarchy. Okay, what if a dog is there, Murray dog is there, Murray dog is a dog, and you should do some multi-threading or multitasking, or you have to create some multitask with respect to Murray dog, but it has already belonged to dog. How can you do that?
Correct. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, you can do that using implementing runnable interface. This is the main reason of having two different ways of creating multiple tasks and creating threads. You have to create thread object to start. Okay, you cannot start over an interface. So when you do this, you have to always choose runnable interface to create multiple tasks. But when you do that, you have to create threads out of that particular class which has implemented runnable interface. How can you do that? You create the object of that particular class and pass that object as the reference to the thread constructor, and it creates the thread out of that particular class. And you start the thread and it starts the thread and creates a separate control flow, executes that as a separate thread of execution. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? So we'll just run this. It will behave as it was behaving earlier. Okay, we do not know what happens, what will be the first, what will be the last. So only JVM knows or JVM does. Okay, earlier it was Ramaya Vastavaya, now it is Natu first and then Ramaya Vastavaya. Like that, it keep doing things randomly. Clear?
Yes.
So I have one
Good.
question.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this is independent of execution, right? We don't know which thread executes first, right? So if there is a case wherein we are dependent on the result of the thread 1 in thread 2, that of the
Yeah.
object. In those
Yeah.
cases, we cannot go ahead with maybe
Yeah.
with threads.
Yes, exactly. Agreed. 100%. But what was the second requirement of this multi-threading?
Parallel execution.
No. Two tasks
Mutually exclusive.
mutually exclusive. They should not depend. What if they depend? What if they depend? If they depend, we should make it as synchronized. Okay. We'll see how to make threads synchronized later. Okay, there is a way to make one thread to wait for the result of or to complete to another thread to get completed, and then it runs based on the result of the first thread that was executed. So there is a way. It is called as synchronization or concurrency or something like that. Okay, we'll see how to make that. We will wait. We will notify that I have completed. We use these methods like wait, notify, notify all. These things we use to make or to achieve Java concurrency or synchronization. Okay. But it's not a good way or good thing to do this when one task to do multitasking when one task depends on another task. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
So one more question. Let's say I have only one class. I have a main method and 3 other instance methods. Is it possible to without creating
Make
other
methods
classes?
as
Yeah, make
make method.
methods run independently.
No, it's not possible.
Okay.
Yeah, because run itself is a method that will and start itself is a method. If you call start, it will create another or it will create another thread, and that will execute run method. Okay, so you cannot do that in Java. I don't know about other language, but in Java you have to create a separate class, override run method, either implement runnable or extend thread, override run method, then create thread objects, or by if you are either by giving the runnable interface as the parameter or not, you have to call start, then only another thread of execution will get started and it keep executing that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it.
Yes, sir.
No questions, no doubts. Please test this. Please test this. I'll send this code, and at the same time, I'll give you a task. So you know how to read files, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how to read one file at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you have multiple files, means file is a third-party resource. It is in file system in hard disk. You have n number of files, or you have you can take a folder. You have n number of text files, and you have so many words in that in those files. Okay, you have to read those files. Okay, so reading one file is one task. Reading n file is n tasks. Reading file A that should not depend on reading file B. Reading file B should not depend on reading file C. Okay, so see how you can achieve this using multithreading as we have discussed today. Okay, and you should store the data into a list and sort those words in n number of files. This is the task.
Okay, sir.
Got it? Okay, cool. See who will do this and share the code in the WhatsApp group. Okay, you will achieve this and share the code in WhatsApp group, and those names will be noted. Clear?
Sir, can you
Any
repeat the
questions on the requirement? Okay, I'll repeat it. You have a folder and you have n number of text files in that folder. Okay, you have to read each and every file and read those words and sort the words in that particular file. Okay, so while reading one file reading, or rather I'll put it like this, one file reading will not depend on another file reading. Okay, there is a concept of recursion also that is included in this. So you think how you can solve. It's a kind of interview question. So you have n number of files, you should read n number of files, and one file reading need not depend on another file reading. They are totally different texts, and you should sort all those things, all the words in one file and in n files, and display the output of sorted ordered list to the console. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Reading files, more precisely, reading n number of files should happen in a way of multi-threading. Got that?
Yes, sir.
Got the requirement, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All the 36 people, 35 excluding me. I will not solve it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Shall we end the session? Any questions?
Sir,
Yeah.
to run Java code in VS, which are all the packages we have to install?
There
Packages
is
means
some.
extension.
Yep, I got it. So I'll just share screen. There was I don't remember Java extensions. Let me see. So I have like these extensions, that is install extension pack for Java. Okay, I have installed this. This is the main thing that you have to install, which is by Microsoft itself. And debugger for Java you can install it. It's not a matter. Test runner also, it's not a matter. Project manager I think I have installed, but it is of no much use. Maven, if you work on Maven or some web projects, then it is only of use. You can install these two packages, extension pack for Java and debugger for Java. Or you can just search or Google what are all the packages or extensions that we need to install for coding Java in VS Code. Okay, but when you go for something like Maven or some web projects, then better use Eclipse. VS Code will not manage it properly for you. It's good to use Eclipse.
Yes, sir.
Because for these minor programs to demo, I like VS Code, so I do that. But if you are going to create some projects or something with working with Maven, Gradle or Spring Boot later, then go for Eclipse. Okay. Cool. Any other questions? No questions? Okay. So try coding. Try that particular problem. It will really help you if you solve that. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Bye. And there was one question I saw in a chat. Where is the chat? Even if we call start twice on same thread, will it execute only once? As I told, right? Yes, it will raise an exception. You cannot call start. You cannot call start method twice on the same object because it is already started. It's running. There are 6 stages of thread: start, running, wait. I don't remember. Wait. Blocked state is there and ending state is there. I don't remember the third one. there are 6 stages or life cycle stages of threads. If a thread is already in start on the same object, it cannot start again. It will rise to an exception. Clear? Okay, cool. Bye. Thanks.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.